on the Texas A&M Sports Network. From Learfield, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. Welcome to the Aggie Volleyball Hour with Jamie Morrison. Brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Memorial Hermann, proud supporter of Aggie Volleyball and the official healthcare provider of Texas A&M Athletics. And by Cotton Holdings. One call, one team, total recovery. Now the Aggie Volleyball Hour with Jamie Morrison.
Welcome to the Aggie Volleyball Hour, live from Rudy's Barbecue in College Station. I'm your host, Chelsea Reber, and I am excited to visit with head coach Jamie Morrison tonight. We will also hear from seniors Logan, Lednicky, and Ava Underwood later on in the show, so make sure to stick around for that. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our live audience for being out here tonight. We appreciate you guys.
I'm giving them a round of applause.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, so coach, your team 17-3 on the season, 9-1 in conference play. You're coming off 2 big road wins this weekend. Every road win is a big one in the SEC.
It is.
How do those road matches prepare you for postseason?
Yeah, I was asked at some point just about neither of those was, the easiest match. And just asked about how does, facing adversity against some of those teams influence us in the future. And it's nice to flex that muscle every once in a while and be pushed and have to find different ways to win. And we did just that. So I think it gets us ready for this weekend. It gets us ready for the NCAA tournament, gets us ready for the SEC tournament. It gets us ready for having our backs against the wall and having to find a way out.
Let's recap LSU. Always a bit of an emotional match. There's a little bit of, history between these two teams. And you guys actually ended up dropping the first set on Friday night, but then settled in to win the next 3. What kind of adjustments did your team make after that first set? Yeah,
I think the first set we gave up a few too many unforced errors, and it was interesting the whole weekend. We again had our backs against the wall a few times, and I never thought there was panic. And that was one of the things I really admired and I liked from our team that I saw and from our staff. That just we were constantly trying to find a solution and a way to get out of sets or rebound from the first. So I think we just talked about the fact that we gave up a few too many points. We got to make sure we settle in here and find the right volume and right aggressiveness that we need throughout all the skills. And I thought we settled into the second set, played pretty well.
It doesn't happen often, or maybe ever, that you guys are in the same place as football is. And so obviously you had a few supporters. I was there in Baton Rouge. It was so much fun to see you guys play on the road.
Yep.
We've heard all the Mike Elko shout outs. I think Bucky gave you a shout out today in his presser. Meanwhile, Coach Elko in football is having a historic run this year. How special is it to have the support from not only him, but others in the athletic department while you guys are both just on this amazing trajectory this season?
Yeah, and I don't think it's just the two of our programs. I think there's a lot of camaraderie, especially amongst the head coaches, but I think amongst all these programs, and whether it be the girls supporting other programs or their guys supporting us, or again, coaches supporting coaches, I think we're really all kind of have as a collective effort lifting up the entire athletic department, and it's awesome to see. And hats off to Mike. I mean, him and I sat next to each other at the all-staff meeting yesterday, and I don't know if there's a more accessible, likable, more respectable head coach for a football team that's out there. And I told him when we were leaving there, I said, hey, thanks for, garnering a little bit more support for our program through his. And I got a lot of respect, not only just the wins and losses, but the way he's going about his business and the way he's developing the whole program and not just this year's version of it.
And I know you don't have a ton of experience in the college landscape, but enough to know that this isn't always the way it works.
No, and you hear from either your counterparts that are at other programs or, I think it's unique. And again, it's just the way I've heard about things going on in other places. But again, I can't imagine somebody else being more approachable.
Before we get off the LSU match, that last set, it was really neck and neck. You guys ended up pulling it out. Definitely don't want to go to 5 sets in Baton Rouge. But how proud were you of your team, just the way they were able to finish it, punch that ticket, and move on?
Yeah, extremely. And again, each of those sets was a different, unique challenge that we had to figure out a different way to win. And the second set, we had a ton of kills, and our offense was clicking. And then the third set, it wasn't. And all I'm thinking is, I think in that one, if I went back on a service run, and we did it that way. And in the third one, it was some gritty defense, or fourth one, it was some gritty defense. So it was an interesting match where I didn't feel like anything necessarily was clicking at all times, but we always found some way to win.
But that's a great characteristic, obviously, to have in a team. You don't have to be great on offense or great. You can win in so many different ways.
Yeah. And I'm going to bring it back to our football team. They've shown that one this year too. And it's interesting because I felt like we were kind of going both through the same cycle, and then everything kind of started to click. This weekend, it was kind of pieces were firing at different times. But again, I think you got to go on there, especially on the road. Like, you're never going to go in some of these places and play your best match. And it's awesome if you do, but can you find ways to win when maybe it's not there? You
talk about it finally started to click. I feel like you guys keep getting better. Yeah. This is not a team that was super hot and then kind of cooled off. It's you grinded, you found a way to win certain matches, and now you're seeing that improvement in every aspect.
No, 100%. And I think it really goes back to, we've talked a lot about responses in this program, not necessarily caring about the mistakes, but caring a little bit more about how we respond. And I think we kind of had this amazing preseason, what led into we were playing in our non-con, and then the Dallas-Fort Worth weekend happened, and we stopped doing some of the things that are important to us. And I think from that point on, we've really kind of gotten better and better and better every single week that we played.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys take care of business at LSU, then you head to Oxford. You get the sweep against Ole Miss, 51 kills as a team. Logan led with a team-high 16. Your offense is kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I've gotten that from opposing coaches too. So.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it's not fun for them to watch, but what is it when you guys are really, really moving and grooving on offense? What else is going on that's helping that?
I think it starts with the contact before that, whether it be a good pass or a good dig. And to start the season and the entire season, I've said it on this, our passing unit has been absolutely amazing and the best, if not one of the best in the SEC. And I think defensively, if you go back and look at that was one of the things we talked about a lot after that Dallas-Fort Worth weekend, was just that quality of that contact is going to influence things just as much. And then I think it's balance. And you got a lot of hitters that are, hitting for a really high clip. You got the number one most efficient middle blocker in the country in Morgan. And then you got, all of this balance around it. And it's been interesting because you have some of these teams that are like, we're going to stop Morgan. And it's like, all right, well, we have these two other things. And we got a really unselfish team that is okay with it. Hey, I'm okay pulling the block so that this person has their night. And then the next night might be theirs. And I think that's the hardest thing to deal with us is we got different ways to attack you, and whatever it is that you choose to decide to try to take away, we're going to be smart and find the other spot.
Are you sitting down with Maddie, in solo situations, talking to her about the scouting report for another team, talking about that balance and where you want her to go?
Yeah, Jeff Bjorns is in charge of our offense. He's the one sitting down kind of putting together that plan, but it adjusts within a game. Right. I think that's what you got to do, and different people are going to try to stop you in different ways and maybe at different times throughout the match. But I think we've done a really good job adjusting within that. So those two are talking a lot during the match.
For the third time this season, Afena Kasapala named SEC Defensive Player of the Week. So over the weekend, here's some stats. Yep, we'll hear it for her here. Yeah, definitely. She had 10 blocks, 16 kills, 5 aces. I want to get in the weeds just a little bit. When it comes to blocking, what is she doing in practice, in the weight room, in film, to make it look so easy during the match?
All of that?
Yeah. Because that's what it is. It's not just in game. No. I mean, she is obviously doing incredible work outside of game time to make it look like that.
Yeah, I think it's been one, I think she's gifted. I do think there's a piece of that. She has an innate ability to, read how to do different things with her hands. But if I were to go back, 3 years ago, it was, can we teach you to not get pulled by another middle blocker and block what you see? And I think she's really, really good at that. So she doesn't get juked out very often. I think she's, developed as a well-rounded athlete, and she's really, really explosive. And whenever you're looking at middle blockers and trying to recruit that position, it's how quickly can you move side to side? Because you got to do it. Offenses are speeding up, and you have to be really, really nimble and able to go do that. So I think there's a piece of that came in with, but she has worked really, really hard in the weight room to become a more explosive athlete. And then I think it's a studying of the game. And I think, I don't know if she'd ever admit it, but you'll see it be sitting there. She'll be on Volleymetrics, which is where our athletes have access to every single volleyball match, studying a setter for another, 45 minutes probably, outside of what we're doing normal in scouting. So she's really trying to connect what she sees with what I'm going to go do in the match.
Are her and Morgan going up against one another in practice?
Yeah, we mix it up. So it depends on the day of the week. Earlier on in the week, we're a little bit more mixed than I think even some other teams in the country are. I believe in developing all 17 athletes on our team. So even today's practice, we're leading into this week. The majority of it was mixed, and then near the end, we kind of separated things a little bit. So they get up with each other quite a bit.
I could just imagine them being that good and making each other that much better.
Yeah, so
that's got to be a lot of fun.
Thought about throwing a middle blocker tournament this week where you flip them on different sides and you got to set them a certain amount of times. But yeah, no, they get after each other.
That's awesome. All right. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield. Welcome back to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. Volleyball and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood. Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs in 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. Chelsea Reber here visiting with head coach Jamie Morrison. All right, you've got a big one on Friday, no secret. Top 10 matchup, rivalry game, a chance to shake up the SEC standings. Texas is undefeated. You guys split matches last season. It's Halloween night. There are so many subplots to this match on Friday. Do you treat it like any other match, or do you acknowledge kind of the pageantry of it all?
Yeah, no. I mean, I think we treat it as every other match, as if we're going to prepare like it's every other match. And then I think if you were just ignore the fact that it's bigger, like one of the things we talked about today was just we had almost 10,000 people in the stands last year. And that first set, it took us a while to get used to playing in front of 10,000 of our own fans. Like that was just something we hadn't done. So, and that's not to say don't come out or like we talked about, I don't know, preparing for, hey, there's 12,000 fans, but just what that was like today is one of the things we talked about. So, and learning from last year. And I thought the second set, we used the power of 10,000 fans behind us and beat them pretty handily in that set. So I think we treat it the same in terms of, hey, we're going to prep the same throughout the week. We're going to scout the same. We're going to go about these things. We're not going to overemphasize things and all of a sudden like add stuff to the scouting report. But I think when it comes to the match, I think you got to deal with the emotions that come along with that, with it being a rivalry match, with there being a lot of people in the stands, with it being, I don't know, really high-level volleyball. So I think with all of that, you can't, I don't know, ignore the fact that it's a little bit different, but we're going to try to prepare and do everything the same.
You know, it's interesting, at least in the last 4 matches, you and Texas have played the same teams, but flip-flopped.
Yeah, that must be fun for them.
Yeah. Teams are like, oh, I've got Texas A&M and Texas, like back to back. Yeah, it has not been easy for the opponents. Has it helped watching film, seeing Texas play the teams you're playing within basically the same 3-day span?
Yeah, I think so. And like when it comes to scouting our sport, you want to scout two sides of it. You want to scout what they're going to do to you offensively, so how their offense is going to come to you and what you need to block and defend with. And then you want to look at, all right, how are they going to try to block us? And I think one of the interesting things is like we play a very similar offense. So it's one of those things where we're, I don't know, watching another team, we always make sure that Texas is one of them just because they're going to be similar in that. And we want to see how they respond to that. So I think that has been helpful. And then, yeah, I think that's the biggest way.
Mm-hmm. It's a talented team, no doubt, but they're young in the middle with a freshman and a sophomore. They have a freshman on the outside who's playing very well this season, and I'm not saying that young players cannot be extremely good, but do you use your maturity and your experience here as an advantage in this match? Do you see it as an advantage?
Yeah, I think it's been an advantage all year. And I think there's some of that, just like our players have played around each other for a long period of time. And there's a little bit more continuity there where you know what somebody else is going to do. But they are talented. I mean, I coached I think 2 of the 3 freshmen. There's a freshman opposite that's on there also. So they're talented, but they're going to make mistakes because of it also. And also, again, more of an encouragement. I hope I didn't scare people away from coming out to the match and saying, like, hey, we got to get used to it in the first set. But playing in front of that many people is also something that you're not used to doing as a high school player. So all of a sudden you have, I don't know, a 13,000 person mob coming after you, and you're going to respond to that a little bit differently if you've never been in it. So I think all of that, I think there is an advantage there.
Yeah, because obviously they get the crowds at home, but those are people cheering for them. So if you can get in a little more hostile environment, get in their heads, like that's obviously a big component. I was listening to your presser earlier today, and you talked about just their physicality. How do you minimize that? Like, is there a way? Like, how do you take that away from them?
Yeah, I think you be disciplined, and it's one of those things. If they're physical as attackers, it doesn't matter if you get two sets of hands in front of them. So if we're reading like we were talking about earlier and get people up there, you get to slow those balls down. And then I think with that, and then the other piece of it is you got to play good defense back behind. And you got to be able to handle that heat and put it up somewhere on your side of the court, and then someone on your side. It doesn't always have to be your setter. It has to be able to put a ball up and then take a swing from there. So you're really, and this is, I don't know, when I came into this job, like we were trying to train our team to play international volleyball, and this is what it is. And with that, like you be physical, and we're physical ourselves. So when I say that, it's not like I don't think we can match up with them and they're going to be coming over the top. It's just we got to handle some heat that maybe we haven't seen. And have some balls that might go over the top of us that we need to try to get a touch on and then turn.
Yep, that's going to be Friday night, 6:30, the Cotton Holdings Lone Star Showdown. It's Halloween night, Texas A&M versus TU. It's going to be a fun one.
It will be a fun
I'm
one.
excited to see everybody out there. But after that, you have to turn right around. You've got a tough road test, quick turnaround to 16th ranked Tennessee on Sunday. Tell me more about the Lady Vols. I heard, again, in the presser today, you said this might be one of the more underrated teams in the SEC right now.
And I don't know if they're underrated. I just feel like when everyone's talking, they're talking about us, Texas, and Kentucky. And it's like, I'm like, man, they're pretty good over there when I'm watching them. And I saw it at the beginning of the year when you started looking at statistics. They were hitting for a really high efficiency. But they're a really clean volleyball team. I think they play good volleyball. I think they have the top-rated passer probably right now. They're scrappy is the way that I go about it. And usually I kind of spend the beginning of the week looking at the first team and then the end of the week looking at the second. So I haven't fully scouted them yet. But it's one of those things where they're getting a lot of balls off the ground. And they're putting it up, and they're extending rallies, and they're doing some good things along those lines as they're in there. So it's going to be, I don't know, a different test, I think. And it's a little bit like we're playing this super physical team, and then we're going back to almost like playing in Kentucky that we saw before. Not that they're not physical, but it's just a different layer of volleyball that we're going to have to play.
A different color of orange.
Yeah, true that, too.
Tell me a little bit about that. Have you guys done that yet, played at home or on the road, and then had to flip that script
I think we
quickly?
did earlier in the season. It's
I'd have to look at the
interesting. I
schedule.
think 2 weeks ago was the first time we played Friday, Sunday the entire season.
Right,
so,
right.
It was Wednesday, Sunday. I think we'd done it earlier in the year that way. But if I'm remembering correctly, this is the first time, maybe even in my time here, that we've gone Friday and then turned around and played a road game.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough test, but definitely a good one. That Tennessee match is the start of a 3-match road stand. You will wrap up at home on November 16th. How important is this? I mean, I know, I get it. It's all important. So I hate asking that question, but this last stretch, this is where teams really kind of make or break, especially when it comes to that postseason. What are we looking at once it's all said and done? Yeah,
and each one's important. And I think as you get to the end of the season, maybe that's fresher in the committee's eyes, kind of when they're making selections and who's going to be seated where. But it's also chances to make a statement. And it's a chance to go out, I don't know, this weekend against 2 teams that are really, really good and prove our case. So, and again, both of them are going to offer some challenges in different ways. But I think with each of them, it's not necessarily, I don't know, make or break. It's, hey, here's our chance to go do something that's going to impact our future.
You guys, I feel like, again, we're talking about consistent volleyball. And again, that little stumble, the 2 matches against SMU and TCU. But I just feel like your team is getting better and better as the week goes on. What can you attest to that, amongst the players during practices and what they have been doing, taking care of their business outside of the court as well?
Yeah, I think it's all of it. And we've talked this point in especially a lot of their careers, as you said, we're getting to be a more veteran team, and the learning curve is kind of starting to drop off a little bit, where we're not making these large improvements that you saw in maybe the first 3 years that I was here, but the first 4 years that these athletes were here. We're getting to the tail end of that, so now we're looking for these micro little changes that are happening. And I think we've done a good job, I think, again, especially since that weekend, of really kind of dialing into those things of all right, this is this tiny little area that we're going to have to get, 2 points better for. And even the Kentucky game, we lost, and it was all right, we're looking for 2 points in the 4th set. That's literally the difference in us pushing that to 5. So it's all right, here's these 2 points. Let's get to work. And I think we've done that every single week. You talked about it earlier. You said you didn't see that panic when you guys dropped that set to LSU. Have you seen that panic at all this season, or is this a team that stays pretty calm? And not that you want to point it out, but especially as of late, you're right. It doesn't feel like you're ever worried that you're out of the match. Yeah, no. I mean, I think we all felt a little lost in the SMU match is what I would say, myself included. I was trying to be all right, where do we get better at right now? Because it was pointing at a bunch of different things. But even in that, I thought I got a little fiery in the locker room in between the second and third, and I thought we came out in the third and started to play volleyball again. And again, the thing I was impressed about that weekend is kind of the wheels fell off for 2 sets. We kind of got them back in on the third, and then we had a 45-minute practice that next day at TCU, and I thought we started to put the wheels back on and played pretty well against a good volleyball team. It was just a little bit too little too late at that point. So. And I think maybe that's the only time. But again, going back to what you said about freshmen versus seniors, that comes. It's not like, oh no, we're playing horrible. It's like, hey, we've been here before. We figured this out in different ways, and we got to get to work right now. Yep. We are going to have Logan and Ava on coming up. Quickly, brief thoughts about them. Are they any good? They're pretty good. And I think as much as people see the volleyball side, I think people that get to know them off the volleyball court are going to attest to that as well. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, listen, we're going to catch up with them here after this break, so make sure you guys stay tuned. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour from Learfield.
Welcome back to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. I'm Chelsea Reber, now joined by seniors Logan Lednicky and Ava Underwood. Girls, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
So we had, let's hear it. Hear it, clap. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks again to our live audience, and thanks for you guys tuning in. We appreciate it. Both of you started your college careers here at Texas A&M. When the coaching change happened, what made you decide that you were going to stay and stay here with Jamie and with your teammates? Because obviously either one of you, both of you could have easily entered the transfer portal and gone somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. I think from day one, I mean, I know Ava can attest to this too, like if volleyball got taken away, we knew we wanted to be at A&M. And so despite the coaching change, despite a tough year one, like we knew that if something were to happen, that's where I wanted to be. And I think like that could have been said whoever got hired, but we had Jamie and he built the most amazing staff around him, brought in some great players, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I think for me is like one of my biggest questions that I came down to when I was being recruited was where would I want to be if I wasn't playing volleyball? And kind of goes hand in hand with what Logan just said, but that was such an easy answer for me. I love the school. I love everything about the school, and this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be an Aggie for the rest of my life, so very easy answer for me.
It's interesting because we had Kendall on during the last show, and so when her brother Eli was talking to her about the transfer portal, where she wanted to look at after Baylor, it was that exact sentiment. It was make sure if volleyball gets taken away from you again for her, like it's somewhere that you want to be, and that's going to make things so much easier as well. So.
I think we also knew that this place had so much potential for a really good volleyball program and had all the resources that we needed to do what we wanted to do as a program. So when Jamie got hired, I mean, it was very much we wanted to stay because we saw the potential for our program.
Yeah. Well, you guys are ranked 9th in the country. Shout out. You basically, moving forward. Exactly. Yeah. After that year one, who would have known?
Not us.
You guys have basically been a top 10 team all season. Ava, what makes this team so special and so good?
So much. I think it's a really cool combination because we are a very senior heavy team, but we have so many pieces. Our freshmen have been great. And I think our team just all gets along really well, and just we want to win. And we love the 12th man. We love just the spirit of Aggieland that's all around our program. And I think that you can see it when we play. I think we have a very unique style of play. I think we're very true to who we are. And I think that's really hard to find sometimes. I think everyone, just buys into their own piece of it. And it's really cool. Yeah. So,
Logan, I actually want to go back. I know it feels like ages ago, but I was just talking to Jamie about it in the last segment. Those 2 losses earlier this season to SMU and TCU, who are, by the way, very good teams in their own right. What did you guys talk about as a team after those 2 losses that really helped you get back on track?
Yeah. So after the SMU match, obviously we got swept. We all came in the locker room and it was silent for a good 5 minutes. And I think we were all kind of just doing some reflecting. And then we were like, you know what? Like, good. We needed to get that kick in the butt. Like, we had been on whatever hot streak, however many matches we had won. And so that's a great thing for that to happen in preseason.
When it happened.
Great lesson to learn that we're not invincible. We're not untouchable. And there's so much for us to learn still now. And I also think it was great that we turned it around and played a really good TCU team. Obviously didn't come out our way, but pushed to 5, great match, tough loss. But I think we came out, learned lessons from that too. And like I said, a great thing to happen early on in preseason. That's kind of led us to how we've done in SEC now. So,
yeah. Ava, how do you say your position?
Libero.
Okay, good. That's how I say it too.
Jamie sometimes says libero. We've got all
libero,
bro,
libero.
I pronounce it libero.
Yeah,
I feel like that might be the southern way to say it.
The southern way. We'll go with that. Yeah,
we'll go with it.
So the block gets talked a lot about on this team, obviously. But I want, because I kind of know how it works, but I want you to take us through and explain to people, even when Afena and Morgan and anyone who's at the net isn't necessarily getting their hands on the ball. What are they doing for you to make sure you're in the right position behind them?
For sure. They take away space. So based off of where their block is lined up is where I have to fill. So sometimes if there's a split, I have to take a big step into the court. If not, I find an edge is what we talk about. So I try to get on the outside of the middle blocker's hand. So just with our middle blockers being so good, they take away a lot of space, which really, really helps me out. And also it just depends on who you're playing too. So I think for sometimes it's hard to understand of like, hey, why is Ava all the way standing in the middle of the court?
Right.
And it's like, there's certain situations where I have to, but having such great middle blockers makes my job a lot easier. So it's really great.
Funny because I was talking to Jamie, I think it was the last volleyball show that we had, and he mentioned, back row players, it may look cool when they're diving and they're flying around and throwing their bodies. He goes, but that means they're probably not in the right spot. So when you are in that perfect spot and somebody just absolutely unloads on one and you're just like, oh, I'm right here. Like, does that not feel so good?
Oh, it feels so nice. It also saves my body. I like not being in the ground as much as I can. So yeah. No, it's really great.
That's awesome. Logan, you continue to climb the leaderboard for most kills in program history. Do you even pay attention to those lists or records? I mean, I'm letting you know right now.
Yeah,
but
honestly, no. After I don't know what game it was, I don't know. Sam always comes up to me. You're like, oh, you moved up twice. I'm like, oh, I don't even know anymore. I always have people come up and say it, but I don't know.
But you're not thinking about that when you're going up and swinging.
I've always, I think, especially with like all the SEC weekly and stuff, and like it's so much better for me to just go into a match and work on the match and focus on what's at hand rather than like comparison, trying to get these awards, because that takes away so much, I think, from the sport, and like then it gets in your head and all this stuff. So yeah, just going in, focusing on the match, and I mean that's great, that's awesome. Like but I think focusing on what's at hand is ultimate success for the team.
Yeah.
So
you get to hit from a lot of different places on the court. You hit a lot of different balls. What is your favorite set to hit?
That's a tough question. Okay, can I have two answers?
Yes, you can.
Either a like mega jack back from Maddie, like when she's running across the net, like she's all the way standing in the outside
like you're probably the
position.
last option.
Correct.
And she's like, oh yeah, no problem.
Oh, and she just absolutely shoots
Just
it
kidding,
back.
because I'm Maddie Walk and I can do that.
Right. Yeah, we'll talk more about Maddie in a little bit for sure. Yeah.
And then there's just like huge seam in the court, and I just like crank it.
Yeah.
Or a nice out of system like buttery ball where I can just go in and like crank it like on the tee, like sharp cross.
Yeah.
That's like amazing.
That
feeling.
was so sweet.
I was going to say,
welcome.
you guys are getting ahead of me on my questions, but we'll go ahead and move to this. Because speaking of great setters, Ava, I don't know if other people really realize this, you are second on the team in assists. You have 68 on the season.
Go. Man,
Now,
that fires me up.
You're only behind Maddie by like 200, but so when
200.
Hey, I'll take it.
So obviously when Maddie Walk, the setter, takes the first contact or something is a little out of system, you're able to step in. Now you set in high school, right?
I did,
yes.
actually.
Yes.
Very random, but I did.
Yeah.
And by the way, I ran a 5-1.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad that's correct because I bring that up in broadcasts all the time.
It is.
And so what goes into your decision when you're out of system like that? But you guys always have more than one option. It's amazing.
Right.
The decision of who you want to go to, and then also like, am I just going to bump set this, or am I going to go ahead and use my hands?
Right, for sure. I think we've been doing this since we were 16, and so I love a good out of system ball to Logan. But like our pins are all of our pins are great at hitting high out of system balls. If I can take it with my hands, I will. But I've really gotten comfortable with this thing too, and so just trying to put up a high hittable ball for our hitters, and can't give away too much. I can't have any like people listening
Good point.
trying to get my get my thought process on it all.
And I know it's obviously something you guys work on in practice, but you make it look so easy.
Oh, well, thank you. Also, Maddie is great at defense too, so she gives me a nice little dig up in the middle of the court and gives me lots of options. So I also love jumping over the 10-foot line and setting as well with my hands. So
Yep.
anytime I can do that, I will.
Speaking of Maddie, you guys are just kind of, already giving her flowers, as you should. She's finally, I think, starting to get recognized more on the national, level, and we're seeing with the SEC accolades. Sure. Exactly. And setters don't always get a lot of credit in this sport because it's not the flashiest of positions. But Logan, just take me through what makes Maddie one of the best setters in the country.
She's incredible. Same thing. I mean, we've been doing this since we were 16, and so had a lot of experience with her, and I think she has some of the best ball placement that I've ever been like set by. She just has an incredible eye for being able to put the ball up in the right place wherever she is on the court. And I think just also like her calm leadership. There's all kinds of like personalities, presences on the court, but I think her like calmness, and she's almost like a rock, and just has like a peace to her that kind of brings me back. I like to think that I'm little fiery sometimes, and sometimes
No, not you.
What? Never, no. And so it just brings me back, and like I can always count on her. Just I don't know, keep the peace on the court. So.
And I think that's a pretty important position to be that rock,
100%.
like being the setter and being able to take control of everything. Yeah. Including other people's emotions, like that's really
like
special.
Like
right.
You're the quarterback of the court, and so having that trait kind of brings everyone back and has that leadership role.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with you too. So stay tuned. This is Aggie Volleyball from Learfield. Welcome back to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. Thanks to the generosity of 12th Man Foundation donors, Aggie student athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. Start your tradition of support today at 12thmanfoundation.com. Chelsea Reber here along with Logan, Lednicky, and Ava Underwood. All right, girls, you got a big one on Friday night. All right, it's no secret, right? Logan, do you approach this match any differently because it's a rivalry match against Texas?
No. We actually talked about this in film today because Jamie was kind of just talking about last year when we lost at home, how we kind of approached the game and what led to our little bit of our slow start and then grooving into it. And I kind of just said treating it like any other game. Takes the pressure off you. When you think about it as this big rivalry, yes, it's great. And I love the A&M Texas rivalry, but I think as the athlete, you have to go into it just like any other game, just like any other scout, do the same routine, X, Y, Z, and it'll produce the same outcomes. So.
Yeah. Ava, I look at this Texas team, and they're fairly young, but one place where they do have a lot of senior leadership is in that libero position with Emma Halter. Right. When you're going up against another kind of senior libero leader, I don't know, does that get you amped to bring your A game? Not that you don't bring it every time.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really cool because me and Emma, of course, are the same age, and she's so good. And so we have a really cool relationship. I actually saw her in Washington, D.C. when I was there. And so it's just great. She's so good at what she does, and I'm really good at what I do as well. So it's always a good competition, a good match between the two of us, and there's just so much respect there too. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I'm really pumped.
Speaking of that, you guys both grew up in Texas. We were just talking during that commercial break. You guys actually played club together with a couple of the other girls. Obviously a ton of Texas girls on their side of things. Does it make it more personal because you've probably known some of these girls since you were in high school?
Yeah, no, I think we've played against a ton of them, and just I think that's what's so fun about college volleyball in general is there's always a familiar face, but especially with a lot of these Texas girls, we've seen them. And I don't know, I think it just bleeds into the rivalry that we have at A&M because there's club rivalries too, and so playing against some of these girls, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah, I was talking to Jamie, and he talked about in the press conference today and then tonight, the physicality of this Texas team. And I asked him, and I'll ask you, Logan, how do you take away some of that physicality? What do you guys need to do on your side of the net to take that part of their game, or at least tone it down?
Yeah, I think focusing on our side, playing stretches of good volleyball, we don't have to do anything crazy. We don't have to be great. We don't have to be, but I think just being able to kind of squeeze the life out of them slowly over a period of time rather than thinking we have to do all this extra stuff, and just being able to handle heat. They're going to get their swings. They've got some heavy arms on the outside, the oppo, they're going to get swings, but so are we. And so I think being able to accept that and get our own, and we'll be good. You
bring up a good point, squeezing the life out of them slowly, because this is a game of a lot of points. And I think that's what I loved about volleyball is 1 point is not going to make or break the game, and you immediately have to move on to the next one. So you have to be playing for the long run. It's not about just 1 point here, 1 point there. So yeah, that's a great point, and obviously I hope you guys are able to do that. Ava, what makes you believe that you guys can be the first team this season to beat Texas?
Yeah, I just trusting our training and just trusting who we are. I also think they're coming into a very intimidating environment. 12th man.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. You guys have been drawing some massive crowds.
Huge. And so I think the 12th man is going to be very intimidating for them. And I'm just super pumped. It's going to be, high intensity, for all the marbles. And I think that we're 100% capable of it. I think we're a very scary team when we play our brand of volleyball. So I'm pumped.
Scary on Halloween night, right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very spooky.
Now, Logan, regardless of what happens on Friday, you guys hit the road immediately after that. You've got another ranked opponent at Tennessee. Talk to me about that shift when you have to go from, again, whether big win or disappointing loss, to change and travel and get to another place and get ready to go?
Yeah, I think it all, like, in the preparation this week, like, especially the past couple of days, we've been focusing, I don't know, both teams. Not everything's totally geared towards the game on Friday. You got to focus because we have 2 games coming up. Regardless of what happens Friday, we have another one on Sunday, like you said, against a ranked opponent. And so focusing on the training all week for both teams, I think, helps a lot. And also, I mean, same with, like, in a match, like, next ball mentality. Yes, a win would be lovely and a win would be amazing, but regardless, like, we have another match to play. That'll be really important for us.
Something else that I talked to Jamie about, the support that you guys have received from Coach Elko and the football team and even others in the athletic department. How fun has it been to kind of win side by side with the football team this year?
It's been so cool. Like, I think the vibe in Aggieland has been so good, and it's been so much fun. And so I just want to keep it rolling. And it's also fun as an athletic department just to have that amount of success. And I mean, A&M just has one of the best athletic departments in the nation, and we're showing that right now. And so it's a really cool thing.
You know, I go back to, this was a few years ago when Alabama was playing at Reed Arena, and we talked to their head coach. And again, not their current head coach. This was a few years ago. And they kind of mentioned, like, yeah, some of the girls just like to come here because it's a good football school. Sometimes it's hard to recruit, like, serious athletes. Like, they just like the shine of the football program. And I'm like, you can have both.
Yeah,
We've got both.
We are living proof.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, listen, doing media and having to, you know, come after practice, it's not always easy or fun. But I want to reward y'all for coming here tonight. So I've got a few questions about your teammates. Okay. All right? All right. I didn't ask this one last time.
We love doing media.
Yeah,
okay.
This is great.
So we love this.
Okay,
Yes.
every time. Okay, listen, so who has the smelliest knee pads?
Maddie.
I was about to say Maddie. I'm sorry, Maddie, but it's
So
true.
it's funny, I asked Kendall and Emily off air last time. They said Morgan.
Oh.
Since we were, like, literally 15,
Oh.
I can remember
Maddie's
Maddie's
have
knee
been
pads.
bad.
She's
Morgan's
working
could be bad,
hard.
too.
She's
Could be
working
number
hard.
2. Exactly.
I was going to say, Maddie hits the floor more probably
Yes,
than Morgan
exactly.
does too.
Exactly.
So, okay, this is, I don't know if you want to call him out in front of your coach. Who's always running late? Or who are you always worried about?
I have a good answer for this.
All right, let's hear it.
Ava's not late, but I do worry that she's going to be late often because she's right on time. Like, walking in at the second.
Okay, but what does right on time consist of?
Like, some days, I don't know, you just you push the limits, in my opinion.
You know, I think I'm getting a bad rep for that. To be honest.
However, I will say, I'm the person who stresses a whole lot and likes to be there really
Logan
early.
likes to be there about 3 hours early.
Okay,
No, I'm just
that's
kidding.
dramatic.
About maybe like an hour and a half early, and I'm like 45 minutes early, and that's considered being late in her eyes. So,
Not even to, yeah, okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Here's another one. Who complains the most in the weight room?
Bro, Kindle, which is saying something.
She's young.
Because she is the hardest worker ever. But, like, Tom will give us something. Like, gosh, this is my least favorite exercise. Next day, different
Kindle.
exercise. Oh, this is my least favorite exercise.
or I'll give Kira, because Kira's always like, I'm so sore.
Yes, that.
I'm
or
so
I'm
sore.
hot. Or I'm.
They're young. They'll
cold.
learn. They'll learn.
sweating.
Yeah. I'm sweating.
Too much. Girl.
Okay, let's finish up on a good one. Who is the funniest person on the team? I know you guys have a
So
lot.
many
I
funny
know.
people, And it's all, like, different kinds of funny. Like,
Makes me laugh. Okay, low-key, Maddie Walk will always make me laugh because she has the driest sense of humor, and it's so out of pocket. Who else?
I love
Who
that.
else is
I
funny?
think I can just look at Morgan and we're gonna start laughing. Like, we make
Or-
eye contact and we start laughing.
Or Megan Fitch.
Oh my gosh, yeah, okay.
All right, you got
'cause
some good
she's
ones.
always laughing. Like, Megan is the most giggly person I've ever met in my life, and so anything's funny when it comes to her.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, girls, thank y'all so much for
Yeah,
joining
thank
us
you
on
for
the Aggie
having us. This
Volleyball
is so
Hour.
fun.
Yes, Logan, Lednicky, Ava Underwood. Best of luck. Beat the hell out of TU on Friday, and we're looking forward to more volleyball this
Yes.
season.
Awesome. Well, thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
All
Thanks,
right,
everyone.
we'll wrap up with head coach Jamie Morrison when we come back. This is Aggie Volleyball from Learfield. You're listening to the Aggie Volleyball Hour, and we are going to wrap things up with head coach Jamie Morrison. Before we get there, quick shout out to your SID, Sam Thornton. He's here tonight with his parents all the way from England. So shout out.
I'm giving a round of applause.
Right? Yeah, that is incredible. Thank you guys for being here tonight. And Sam, thanks for always having the best stats ready to go for the broadcast.
Best game notes.
Yeah. Okay, so listen, you've coached a lot of different teams, men's, women's, international, national champions. Don't want to put you on the spot and ask if this is your favorite team, but I will ask, what makes this team different than any other team that you've coached in the past?
That's a great question.
That's why they pay me in barbecue.
No, my first, yeah. You and me both, which I'm salivating over right now. Shout out to Rudy's.
Yeah.
As you asked the question, it is a little bit of like my favorite team, and I've had different ones for different reasons. So I don't want anybody that I've coached before, but like we've built this together, and I think that's a really cool thing. And the two people that were just on the air were here before and had a choice to go somewhere else, and you guys talked about that, but. All the success you're seeing has been built around a core that was here from the very beginning, and it's been blood, sweat, and tears that we've all been through. So I think that's the thing that makes them special. It's not just the wins and losses that come in every single year. It's the process that we've all been through to put this program where it is.
I know, and I'm kicking myself a little bit right now not asking Logan and Ava, but, you know, so many people start a foundation of a program, but they don't actually get to see what it ends up being because it takes more than the time that they have there. They are actually seeing what the program is that they started, that they built. It's coming to fruition this season, and that's got to be so exciting for them and for everyone involved.
Yeah, and I think for them, and they've said this, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn by saying it, but I think when they came here, it was to help put this program back where it is right now. And I think for both of them, they're so selfless that they didn't necessarily think that they would see it, like in their time here, but they would set it on the path. And we've had other players. Caroline Muth told me the same thing. Like last year, it was like, hey, we might not get there this year, but I want to be able to look back. And we just had a conversation 3 weeks ago where she said it's really cool to see this program where it is and know that I was a piece of it. So I think they feel that way, and they're just grateful that they get to experience it this year.
All right, listen, Halloween night, Texas A&M versus TU, the Cotton Holdings Lone Star Showdown. Wear your favorite Halloween costume to the match. There will be trick-or-treating on the concourse, so you can bring out the kids and get the candy. It's going to be a lot of fun. And because this is our last show, also don't want to fail to mention, you guys wrap up your home season. Well, hopefully we have extra volleyball at Reed Arena, but regular season November 16th against Georgia, so make sure to head out. Coach, thank you so much. Always pleasure. Appreciate it. Thank you to our live audience at Rudy's Barbecue for coming out tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Aggie Volleyball Hour. For our engineer, Kevin, and Adam back at the studio, I'm Chelsea Reber, and this is Aggie Volleyball from Learfield.
Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on Harvey Road in College Station. This was the Aggie Volleyball Hour with Jamie Morrison. Brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. Memorial Hermann, proud supporter of Aggie Volleyball and the official healthcare provider of Texas A&M Athletics. And by Cotton Holdings. One call, one team, total recovery. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Texas A&M Sports Network.